Hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. I am really troubled by the amount of attacks we are seeing against our ICE agents. Attacks now to the point where these agents could be killed. I'm also at the point where I think ICE agents need to change their tactics. Instead of fleeing like we see here, and let me show you the video that is coming out of Carpinteria. Instead of fleeing like this, ICE agents need to stop the vehicle, get out of the vehicle, and quite frankly, if someone's throwing bricks and rocks at them, they need to open fire back. Deadly force should be used in these situations. And if you don't need deadly force, then you go and you arrest these folks and you take them into custody. But when you look at what's happening right here, those are ICE agents in that van that are literally being assaulted with bricks and cement blocks. Something needs to give. And so I'm at the point where I'm tired of watching this unfold. The tactics need to change. And that, of course, is what needs to happen. This is later in this attack. ICE agents used smoke to try to disperse the crowd. But you know what? If you're being attacked, and there was apparently gunfire during this attack, we're at a point where something needs to change, and it is the violent left. So today on the podcast, I'm going to go through some lists of attacks by the violent left, and we'll be intellectually honest. We'll talk about whether or not there were attacks by those on the right, by MAGA. Honestly, I can't find very many of them. I could give maybe one, and I'll tell you which one it is later in the program, but not near to the multiple attacks by the violent left on the right and on law enforcement that we're seeing. And I mean multiples, I mean dozens of attacks across the country carried out by violent leftists. So that is a problem. Before we start breaking down some of the immigration situations, I'm going to go through some important sound bites. My buddy Sean Spicer had Alan Dershowitz on about Epstein, and Alan Dershowitz dropped a bombshell. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But before we do, I want to tell you about my friends over at Colonial Metals Group. And let me tell you why I want you to start thinking about putting some money into gold. These BRICS nations, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, all of these troublemaking nations are really trying to sink the dollar. This Rio reset meeting that they just held, they have declared war on the U.S. dollar. We know that China is buying up gold in record numbers. In fact, most central banks across the world are buying up gold in record numbers. There's no end in sight to gold's soaring prices. I think at least some of your money should be in precious metals. How much is right for you? Talk to my friends at Colonial Metals Group. They have a guide that is out that's fabulous for helping you break all of this down. Here's what you do. Go to freegoldguide.com/grant. That's freegoldguide.com/grant. And they'll get you this free gold guide. Take an existing IRA 401k, make it a gold-specific IRA 401k. Colonial Metals can help you do it. Now is the time to protect your portfolio with precious metals. Now is the time to contact Colonial Metals. 800-458-7356. That's 800-458-7356. And you tell them that Grant Stinchfield sent you. All right, with that, let's start the program.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, thank you, folks. Listen, this Epstein situation, we now have Anna Paulina Luna. We now have Steve Bannon calling for a special prosecutor, a special investigator to get to the bottom of what's going on, who's covering up what. Maybe there's no cover-up. I think there is, though. In fact, I'm positive there is. To get to the bottom of all of it. But the problem with demanding a special counsel be appointed for this is that President Trump would be the one to appoint that. He's not going to appoint a special counsel because President Trump is the one who wants the Epstein files kept secret. I believe for national security, world security, global security reasons, as he makes his way through these Mideast peace talks, that's what I believe this is related to. I think the Epstein files go straight to Israel. I think they go straight to Saudi Arabia, and they cannot upend all of these talks when it comes out with who was involved with Epstein and what the CIA was doing to run these traps on our allies. Would not be good. Now, does that mean I don't want it released? No. I want the files released. I want the client list or the list of people the FBI believes are clients released. And so the question then becomes, is there a client list? I told you there is. I told you Ghislaine Maxwell's little black book has 2,000 names in it. That alone could be a potential client list. And then the great work of my buddy Sean Spicer and a guy I have great respect for, Alan Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz is the great attorney for President Trump and others, OJ, you name it, big high-profile guy. He got caught up in the Epstein scandal when he was falsely accused of being part of the Epstein sex ring. And he sued his accuser, and he won. And the accuser retracted everything, and there was a settlement. But because of that settlement, a judge clammed Alan Dershowitz up, which means he can't talk about what he knows from discovery. But this is him and what he had to say.
Every document would prove I was innocent. So let me tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them.
So who are the names? Sean Spicer comes back and says politicians, foreign leaders, entertainers. Alan Dershowitz says all of the above. Big names. Do I believe Alan Dershowitz that he's seen the list? Absolutely. Alan Dershowitz has been a guy that I've known now for a number of years. He has always been upfront with me. I don't believe he is a guy that would lie about this just for the sake of lying about it, which then tells me that there is absolutely a list. And then I think of all the people inside the Trump administration that claim they had seen all of these salacious things. I believe them because I trust these people. So Alan Dershowitz, I trust, and I believe he knows about this list, and he knows who is on it. Now, all of this unfolding has another theory out there that President Trump is using the list to blackmail the deep state. I first saw this, Alex Jones raised this question. Maybe not. I don't know. The other part of this was, did President Trump use it to blackmail members of Congress to vote the way he wants them to vote? Maybe, but I don't think it's President Trump's way. I think President Trump has enough power. He's getting stuff done the old-fashioned way, and that's through using the American people who support him to garner so much power that we steamroll Washington together, and I think that's how President Trump's getting it done. So I don't put a lot of stock in that theory, though it is getting a lot of play. I've gotten it emailed to me, DM'd to me on social media. I can't tell you how many times. Again, my most plausible thought is that this goes all the way back to Israel. This is about Israel and the Middle East. Now, one of the places we get this information, start to unfold all of this, is through social media. You want to hear what Hillary Clinton recently said about social media?
The platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Lose total control of what? The narrative? See, that's what she means. Again, they're going back to this idea that once the explosion of free speech started to take hold of social media platforms again, Because remember, they were mostly free leading up to the election. Then they clamped down on everything conservative, everything conspiratorial in their mind that also turned out to be true. Then they realized they better open this stuff back up again, and they have. What happened? As soon as social media was opened back up again, Republicans start winning. This is where most people get their news. So when she says we lose, she means Democrats. She means Democrats because the Democrats will lose with their lies, because their lies will be exposed every single time. And by the way, if I'm a social media platform, you really want the liability of moderating content? Because now what you've said is you're a publisher. You're responsible then for what's being put out. I don't want that responsibility. And truthfully, they shouldn't have that responsibility. The difference between us and them is Hillary Clinton doesn't trust you to make the right decision. She doesn't trust you to be able to assess the facts, to research the situation and come to a conclusion on your own. Because if you do all those things, you're going to find that Republicans tell the truth a lot more than Democrats do. Now, to the story at hand, which of course is these attacks on our ICE officers. Absolutely horrible, to say the least. And when you think about what is going down here, and this is the latest attack, there's a whole slew of them. Bricks. This was at a marijuana growing facility, one of the largest in the country. They made a number of arrests. They also had 10 children who were unaccompanied. Unaccompanied children. Now, what do you think that means? That means they were there as slave labor. And Gavin Newsom comes out and basically says, oh, they had to watch their parents be dragged away. No, those children were saved from slave labor conditions, in my opinion. At least there's a possibility that that was the case. Now, President Trump talked about these kids, reminding everybody out there, 300,000 missing children just gone poof that came here unaccompanied. Where are they?
You know, something that you should have that you haven't reported. As you know, 300,000 children are missing, right? 300,000 under Biden. We've already gotten back 10,000 of those children, and we have a lot more planned to come back. We're getting them back by the thousands. But 300,000, and we've, as of this morning, over 10,000.
And that's great. I mean, we've got 10,000 kids found, but 300,000 missing, which is why in some respects, I give ICE a D on finding the missing kids. I give them an A on going out and tracking down illegal aliens, especially violent ones. But on finding the children, 10,000 is a lot, but it's not enough. There's 300,000 out there. Now, before I give you the list of all of these violent events that have taken place on behalf of the violent left, Jesse Waters, because let's face it, cities like Los Angeles are freaking out about this. Jesse Waters made a great point on Fox, and I've seen this. You know, I do radio in Los Angeles. Traffic is not as bad as it was because of the deportations. The illegal aliens, whether they've already been deported, whether they've self-deported, or they're afraid to leave the house, traffic's clearing up in L.A.
It crowds the schools, it crowds the apartments, it crowds the hospitals, and it crowds the streets. I don't know if you guys seen this. People are showing what Google Maps looks like in L.A. now that all the illegals are hiding from ICE. There's no traffic on the freeway. You can go on the 405 and you go 65 miles an hour. Trump has literally reduced traffic in Los Angeles, and Democrats are complaining.
They'll complain about anything. But that's a great way to look at it. There's going to be so many benefits from this plan to stop the illegal immigration and to round up all those who are here illegally. Now, we know that it's the violent left that is creating the chaos. I'm going to go through a list of the violence unfolded at the hands of leftists in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to tell you about my friends over at Energized Health. So Energized Health is about inner cellular hydration, getting hydrated at a cellular level, it starts to clear up skin conditions. It starts to clear up brain fog. You start to melt away body fat and that harmful visceral fat that's stored around your organs. That starts to melt away. Muscle mass starts to grow, all because of intercellular hydration, a science-backed formula to hydrate your cells at a cellular level. And again, you're going to be in the shape of your life, and it's not hard. In fact, it's easy. So I would urge you to go to energizedhealth.com. I did. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks from literally just changing a few things around. That easy. They also have a My 555 challenge going on. $5, 5 days, 5 pounds. You do that, and they'll guarantee you're going to lose weight quick. But EnergizedHealth.com has a free master class there at the website. I urge you to take it, learn about it, look at all of the testimonials. And if you're serious about getting your life back, living longer, living healthier, living a fuller life, Energized Health can help you. It's EnergizedHealth.com. All right, as promised, I made a list. Okay?
I love when you make a list. You're like Santa.
So let's go through the list first of the most recent attacks on ICE agents. You've got this one. And by the way, when you look at ABC News, they start off with an agriculture center.
Right.
Not a cannabis farm.
Right.
Okay. So this facility, agents doing their thing, and you have shots fired at agents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And bricks thrown.
And bricks thrown. And these bricks are
Yep.
becoming commonplace. That's not even on my list because it happens almost everywhere where these ICE facilities are. So you've got, we'll go back to July 7th, okay? So July 7th, lone gunman, okay, fires at U.S. Border Patrol facility in McAllen, Texas.
Right.
One officer wounded. 27-year-old Ryan Luis Mosqueda was killed by agents on the scene. Okay? Then you go back to July 4th. You've got that coordinated military-style assault where they lure the agents out. You now have 10 to 12 people arrested. 10 are arrested. There's an 11th on the run, this Benjamin Song, who was now on video training Antifa members in how to use firearms.
And I think in this case, there's a lot of trans Tifa members, too. This was the one with a lot of the trans people that were involved.
It sure looks like it. So, you know, for the show, I was trying to figure out, were they trans? Now, if you look at the...
Well, that's a fun game.
Were they trans? So,
it's a new game show hosted by Rob Lowe on Fox. You'll be able to see it.
If you look at the mugshots of the 10...
Yeah.
There are a couple that certainly look as if
they
they're
had
trans.
girl names.
Yeah, they're girl names. They look like they're trans. They could be girls. They might not be. But and nobody was really confirming this or not. It was kind of speculation. But certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
It's the first thing I thought when I took a look-see.
So they use fireworks, graffiti, destruction to lure these agents out. Then they open fire, discharging 20 to 30 rounds on these ICE officers. Thankfully, only one police officer, an Alvarado police officer, shot in the neck. So now you got 10 people charged. You have all over the country, you have mass protesters who are throwing bricks, causing all kinds of havoc.
I'll add to your list. Can I add one to your list?
Of course.
So I think it was July 9th, maybe the 8th, but one of those days in Van Nuys, California, they get those little spike strips. They make the spike strips. They put them underneath the federal agents' tires, and 4 people arrested there. I mean, they're just, it's continuing, whether it's bricks and rocks or it's tire spikes or it's the actual shots fired. I mean, this has been an incredibly, just think about the 2-day, 3-day period we're talking about, incredibly violent period.
The next day, which is from that you have, I guess, was this yesterday in San Francisco? Did you see this?
Oh, yeah, I heard about this, yeah.
San Francisco, they call them protesters. They're not protesters, they're rioters. They're clashing with ICE agents at courthouses, using physical force, blocking the agents' movements. One ICE agent was struck by a paint can, and then debris and batons had to be used to clear the way. Now, those are some of the most recent ICE agents, but let's go through the violent left. You got literally Jasmine Crockett saying this is MAGA that's violent. MAGA? For real, Jen?
For real. She's the one that loves to blame MAGA for everything and doesn't ever take accountability for the violence on the left.
Let's just name these two real quick. Audrey Hale. This is the Nashville shooter, remember?
Yeah.
The Nashville shooting. Trans-identified female shooter, which I guess means she's a how does that work? Does that mean she was a man?
She was a man dressed as a woman, yeah.
Okay.
I think.
That's the Covenant School Christian Elementary. Killed 6 people. Transgender. Then you have Safira Allen in Colorado, trans-identified biological male. So I guess a female that's a male. Arrested for planning a mass shooting at schools and churches. Found with a manifesto how to commit the perfect school shooting.
Perfect.
William Whiteworth, also Colorado, trans-identified biological male who went by Lily Whitworth, arrested for plotting a school shooting in Colorado Springs, found with detailed plans of floor maps and manifestos praising past shooters. These are all trans folks. And then, my Lord, we could go through left-wing violence from the Bernie Sanders supporter to the attack on the GOP members of Congress playing baseball. You've got the Antifa attacks. You got the BLM.
I was going to say Black Lives Matter is all leftists. And what about the Summer of Love? Maybe because it was so loving, you forgot to add that to your list.
Yeah, the Summer of Love. You can't forget
so
that.
Nice.
There was something called Jane's Revenge. Do you know this?
That was a band.
Left-wing militant pro-abortion group claimed credit for attacks on crisis pregnancy centers after the Roe v. Wade leak.
Oh, boy.
Vandalism, arson, threats. If abortions aren't safe, you're not either.
And you'd add into the guy who tried to blow up the facility in Palm Springs not so long ago, right? I mean, it's another guy who was a little bit off the rails with what he thought about politics. Very extreme.
This list goes on and on and on. And so tell me a list of and let's be honest, okay, Jen? What's a list of MAGA violence? You can throw January 6th.
That's what every leftist would say.
There was some rustle and tussle, okay?
Yep.
Really, it was the West Terrace. It was one area. Other than that, there really wasn't any violence. But throw January 6th in there. I'll give you it.
I can think of 2 more, but I actually question whether or not they are what they seem. And that's the guy who blew up the Tesla, who is the military guy, which I know you've covered a lot about what the situation is around that.
That is not what it seems.
That's what I'm saying. I can think of 2, and I don't know if they actually are what they seem. So that would be one. And then the other one, we still don't know. I mean, he was appointed by Tim Walz, but the guy who went after all of the Democrats that in Minnesota.
Yeah, that was an odd one. He was
but we don't
appointed
know
by
his
Tim
politics.
Walz.
He just happened to go after all Democrats in that area, although he was appointed by a committee by Tim Walz and the previous Democrat governor.
Right.
So,
and remember the Cybertruck bomber in Vegas did it at Trump Tower.
Yeah.
And he didn't hurt anybody.
Right. Himself.
Right. It was just except himself. That has a real weird one. There's some international implications of that, some weird ties. I've been working with a former Green Beret. You know, he was a Green Beret. That guy was a Green Beret. I've been working with them as they try to uncover exactly what went down. That's one not everything seems as it seems.
I do want to tell you, just to put a little cherry on this story about how leftists respond. So Gavin Newsom, of course, wants to be president, right? And he's doing this back and forth kind of stuff about whether or not he's going to be more moderate. Well, now he seems to be trying to embrace the left because he sees what's going on with this party. They are the party of, Mondami or whatever the heck his name is. I can never say right, in New York, right? So he goes to Twitter or goes to X after this raid in Camarillo. Literally, Gavin Newsom goes to Twitter, this raid is basically, they discovered 10 illegal immigrant kids who are not being attacked because they're illegal. They're underage minors. 8 of them are unaccompanied in this country. I mean, this could be a whole trafficking scheme that they just broke up, and we should be thanking these agents. Gavin Newsom writes this. With video, by the way, of the protest. He says, kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum. So a few seconds later, libs of TikTok get a hold of that tweet from Gavin Newsom and see they add in the video of the guy who's actually shooting at federal agents. And Gavin Newsom, and they say anti-ICE protester just pulled a gun on ICE agents in California. Will Gavin Newsom condemn this? He writes back, "Of course I condemn any assault on law enforcement, you blank poster. Now do January 6th. So he can't even say, please don't attack law enforcement when they're trying to save children's lives.
Unbelievable.
And think about January 6th. I mean, are you kidding?
And think about what he said about the children crying over their parents being taken from the strawberry
fields. That's not why
fields.
they're crying.
It's
They
a
don't have
marijuana
parents.
grow farm.
Right.
That they're literally being slave labor trafficked, many of them unaccompanied minors. Their parents weren't taken off. Their captors were taken off.
Exactly.
All right. Let me tell you about my friends over at Patriot Mobile. I love these guys because they're patriots, hence the term Patriot Mobile. I love these guys because they're getting it done from a customer service standpoint that I've never seen before. They've got 100% U.S.-based customer service. It literally takes you minutes to switch your phone to a Patriot Mobile service. You get to choose which of the big three networks you want to be on, so you're not going to sacrifice connection issues on that front. But most of all, you're going to know you're with a company where a portion of the money they take from you for your mobile service is going to fund conservative causes, whether it's veterans issues, whether it's Second Amendment issues, whether it's programs like this that help us spread the word and exercise our First Amendment. This is what Patriot Mobile is about. It's about a parallel economy. If you're not with Patriot Mobile, then I'm going to tell you, folks, you are doing yourself and your country a disservice. I tell you all the time about switching. Now is the time to do it. So how do you do it? It's super easy. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. Use the promo code Grant for a free month's service. Or you can call them at 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. Use that promo code Grant. Free month service. Switching's easy. Love the folks at Patriot Mobile. 972-PATRIOT. You tell them Grant Stinchfield sent you. So is Tom Homan just absolutely steaming mad about all this?
Of course he is, and he should be, because his agents are being attacked left and right. And you know what? It's even gross just the words they're using at these agents, but then it goes to rocks, then it goes to bricks, then it goes to tire spikes, then it goes to now gunshots. And we've seen that a few times this week, not just once in Camarillo yesterday, as we watched federal agents save 10 children who were being used in a marijuana facility, a cannabis farm. They're underage and unaccompanied by their parents.
When you think about Gavin Newsom's response,
I can't
you
stand
just
him.
laid it out. I mean, but think about that. Think about it. He's upset that the kids are rescued from captors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what
he's
happened.
saying. Yeah. Every single one of these people who have been going out there saying that people are scared and crying in the street, I get it. I'm sure there's that fear-mongering that's happening on television. They're watching the news. I get it. But you have people actually saving children. You go out there and you treat them like heroes, Gavin Newsom. You have a responsibility. You don't use it for a political platform. It's just not right.
What does Holman have to say? Did he respond to this attack?
He has not responded to Gavin Newsom, but he did talk about the attack. He was on Fox and Friends this morning.
My reaction is the same as been from day one. That people are welcome to protest. They have their First Amendment rights, grew up, but they can't cross that line. They can't impede us from doing our job. That's a felony. They certainly can't put hands on an agent. That's a felony. So what happened in California is just another example of protesters becoming criminals. And they've been emboldened by even members of Congress who compare ICE to Nazis and racists and terrorists. I mean, the rhetoric is so high, and I said 2 months ago, it's going to end up with a loss of life. And we had one the other day in Texas, and it's not over. I mean, the rhetoric has to end. ICE agents are simply enforcing the law that members of Congress enacted, that they wrote, they created, and was signed by the president. If people want to complain about the job ICE is doing, go complain to Congress. Because we're enforcing the laws they enacted. We're doing our job.
So
go ahead.
I'm going to just complain about ICE right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because the video that I've been watching of them hightailing it out of there when the bricks are being thrown, they have to stop. They have to stop. They have to get out of the vehicles, and they need to arrest these people. Now, if there's firearms at play, you know what? Honestly, if you throw a brick at someone, you should be shot dead. Okay? I hate to break the news to you.
Because you could kill them.
You could kill them. You throw a brick through a window of an SUV driving, you could kill them. You should be shot dead if you are throwing bricks at agents.
You know, I think the most appalling and uncomfortable I was during the riots in Los Angeles is when people were dumping bricks and rocks and scooters on the top, off of the freeway trying to hit the CHP officers below. I mean, I know they think that's fun and games. I don't know if they think they're playing like Donkey Kong or whatever the heck I know it's more like Call of Duty or whatever the heck they think they're playing, but you're going to kill somebody. That's not funny. It's not minor. This is like a real thing that you can do. You hit somebody the right way on their head with a brick, give me a break.
I don't think they care.
They don't.
We talk about the no regard for human life. We use that term all the time, but it is true. There are young people today that I don't know whether they don't care about their own lives, so they don't care about other lives either. They just feel like their life is a waste. So do they think all lives are a waste?
Their life is a waste if they're out there.
Well, it is when they act like that,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right, Kurt in Riverside. Hey, Kurt, you're on the Morning Answer with Jen and Grant. Good morning.
Donkey Kong, seriously? Good morning.
Hey, leave me alone, okay? I don't like video games.
Goes way back.
Well, he throws the things. You know what I'm talking about. He throws the barrels.
No, I get what you're doing.
See what I'm putting down, Kurt? Thank you.
Yeah. So here's the deal, and it's just really so sad. So I have my best friend since third grade in high school, and I'm 54 years old, so just do the math. So it's 40 years, somewhere around there. She's a permanent resident, and she's an advocate, blah, blah, blah. And we've politically talked about a lot of different things, and we're on different, I'm very conservative and she is liberal and whatnot. But this whole thing, I'm scared of, going down the street, ICE is going to roll me up and, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, Anna, why? I should say her name, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't listen to this. But Anna, why are you worried about it? Yeah, hi, Anna, right? Hi, Anna, I love you. Anyways, but why are you worried about this if your papers and everything's in line? Like, they're not just rolling up. No, you don't understand, Kurt. Yes, they are. I got friends that work at the school district. The school enrollment's down in LA City, 70%, and they're just going in there snatching up kids, taking kids out of the classroom right then and there. And I'm like, there's a reason. If they're taking kids out of the classroom, there's a reason they're doing it. They're not just picking a name out of a hat and walking in the classroom. They're going to go take my son out of the classroom. Well, yeah, that's because you're white and, you're not brown, and they're targeting the brown, and there's all other – there's just this hyper – and I really think one of the biggest problems – Greg, because I know you fired up, because I'm fired up about this. I mean, I'm seriously fired up about this because my grandfather – I hate preaching this, but I'm first-generation Polish. My grandfather was in Dachau concentration camp. My dad was born at a displaced persons camp in Germany. My grandfather had to come over here, and they were sponsored. And their payment to the United States of America was my father was going to get adopted by a person. Thank God it didn't work out. But you know what? Our country is great. We are all immigrants, but I'm really getting tired of it's illegal. Period. Sorry.
Here's the thing you tell her, and thank you for the phone call.
Thanks for the call,
we hear everything you're saying. One, if she's telling you they're being picked up in school's out. So that's one place.
Can I actually answer that question, by the way? And Kurt, thank you again. Can I answer that? Because I know exactly what they're talking about. So there was literally two agents that showed up at an LA Unified School District school during the school year, probably May, kind of when the ICE stuff started. Okay. And the LA Unified School District sent these ICE agents away. They would not let them in the school. The media picks this up, and they start saying that ICE is trying to conduct raids in the school. No, what ICE, if you actually listen to the explanation, what they were doing were wellness checks on some of these kids who they believe came into the country either unaccompanied or with parents who brought them in and were up to no good. And they wanted to do wellness checks on these kids because guess where they can't do wellness checks on the kids? When the kid is at home surrounded by his parents keeping an eye on him, and the LA Unified School District sent them away. That's totally irresponsible. What if they were able to help these children and their one chance at being helped was just sent away by some overzealous school nurse?
Remember, you've got tens of thousands of unaccompanied minors that have come across the border that have now lost. I mean, I actually give ICE a C, a D on finding these kids. They're gone. Tom Homan apparently did respond to Gavin Newsom.
And by the way, he also mentioned, and I don't know if we have the clout if it's here, but he mentioned that ICE has already taken, I think they found and recovered, thousands of kids that are unaccompanied.
There's
good.
Tens of thousands more that need to be found.
Exactly.
Play the
Here's
clip
Tom
of Homan. Yeah.
I see this every day, and I said from day one, when President Trump became president, that they're going to vilify the men and women of ICE. They'll vilify the men and women of Border Patrol. They did it during the last administration, except this time the rhetoric's at an all-time high. Every day I get up and I read the media posts at the White House, and 90% of the stories are just fake. They're lies.
They are. 855-785-8255. Chime in. Big raid in Camarillo, and one officer, was met with gunfire. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but there was one individual who's now being sought by the FBI. $50,000 reward for that person.
It's got to stop.
It has to.
All right, now a little update. Do you have one of these wellness company prescription medication kits? Some of the most important prescription medications, life-saving prescription medications inside here, including ivermectin, a Z-Pak, amoxicillin, and a whole slew of others are going to keep you safe in times of an emergency. I want you to get one of these kits. You go to twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT. You're going to get a nice savings there. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT. And then I want you to think about 60 million Americans with parasites. I got this parasite cleanse because that you see on your screen, I do not want in my body or my brain or on my skin. Parasites are a real problem. The parasite cleanse is ivermectin and mebendazole. It has been sold out now 3 times from the wellness company. They have it back in stock, okay? Mebendazole, ivermectin combination that will wipe this out. This means your cognition will start to come back. You'll clear your thoughts. Skin issues will go away. Digestive issues go away. Get the parasite cleanse. 60 million Americans with parasites. If you have a pet, the likelihood that you have parasites is there. If you're drinking water, if you've been south of the border, the likelihood that you have parasites is there. If you like sushi, parasites are a real problem. Raw fish and rare meat. So I urge you, think about getting one of these parasite cleanses. twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT.
So I was going to lay out so Grant could say his name. I don't want to step on that.
Oh, well, I'm Grant Stinchfield. I actually have some big news to report, but since Dan has a studio update, Dan, why don't you report on the studio update, and then I'll explain the big news that I have, which is going to be good news for moviegoers everywhere.
Thank goodness.
I looked up beer barrel polka, and this is one of them. So
it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
If there's a different one as well, I'll do like my personal Shazam and then search the lyrics you mentioned. There's something about heaven in there.
In heaven, there is no beer.
All right, I'll look.
That's
for
why
it.
we drink it here.
Okay.
And when we're gone from here, our friends will be drinking all the beer. It's a good one.
Let me hear it again.
We'll have a barrel of fun.
Oh yeah, this is great.
Roll out the barrel.
This is the beer barrel polka. You got it.
Yeah, Frank Yankovic and his Yank.
Frankie Yankovic and the Yanks.
That's right.
Yeah.
No itch. It's Frankie Yankovic.
Yankovic.
All right,
that's right.
Would you like my good news?
Better than the Yanks? All right.
All right. So the new Superman movie.
Yeah, people are upset.
People are wildly upset, and I'll tell you, it's amazing that people get upset before even seeing the movie, apparently. Okay? Because I have very good news to report.
Tell me.
So this guy Gunn, the executive producer, his brother makes a comment saying this is about immigrants,
yes,
and we should all be happy.
Superman's the ultimate immigrant.
Superman's the ultimate immigrant. Now, my son was quick to point out, he didn't come here willingly. He got shot off a planet. And he just landed here.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't choose to come here. Immigrants choose to come to America. Superman didn't.
Unless they're a child.
So yesterday I said, well, I hear Fox and screaming and yelling about the movie's woke and they've gone woke. So my son was going to see the movie yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then a gentleman by the name of Gabe El-Taib,
okay,
who is, I don't know if we've had him on the program before, but He was a DC comic book artist,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very well known in the comic industry. And he was on the Superman comics. Well, once Superman started to go woke in the comics, he got very upset. He didn't want gay Superman. You know, there was like literally gay Superman.
Right. There's a bunch of different variations. Of the
Variation.
story. Yeah.
He quit, and he started his own comic books, Big Man Comics, and it's all about truth, justice, and the American way.
Love it. Okay.
Remember, Superman dropped that phrase.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
'Cause America's bad.
took that phrase back up, and he's got Big Man Comics. I urge you to go see it. So I call him. I said, hey, will you come on? He says, yeah, well, it opens, today or whatever. He says, I'll go see it. And then
Okay, give a little update.
he comes on the program last night after I get a phone call from my son, who's a good conservative. My son said, Dad, it's not woke. The movie's not woke.
Good.
And I said, okay. He says, there's one time they talk about Republicans and Democrats, and they said they can agree on one thing. They both don't like Zod. Kneel
true.
before Zod.
Who would be our Zod? Somebody that Democrats and Republicans don't like right now. Elon Musk.
Yeah, right. Probably. Probably. So then Gabe El Taib comes on, and he told me, he's like, I wasn't even going to go see it because I didn't want to. He comes on, he says, the movie was great. Not woke at all, he says.
Well, that's good news. It makes me happy because we just had a whole conversation actually on the Inland Empire Answer about how movies and everything, like everybody's looking for messaging. Like nobody's just getting entertained anymore. So I want that to be a warning to our side. Like I know it's fun to kind of like tie in pop culture with our cause, but if it doesn't need to be, just let it be a movie.
So he said that the movie really is about family, that the mother and father of Superman are great, and it's about love and family and traditional values.
Wow.
Nothing what I heard on Fox News.
All right. Well, that's good news.
And these are from people that I trust.
And maybe this is something you want to do this weekend, and then you can report back to us. And we always have our morning answering machine available. So if you go see it Saturday, call us 877-590-5843 and leave a message for Monday.
Do you know what movie I did see the other day?
You saw a movie? Did you go to the movies?
I did.
Did you
I
see
went to the
F1?
movies with my son. No, I heard
wanna
that
see
was
that.
decent. I heard that was decent if you're not an F1 fan.
Yeah.
If you're not an F1 fan, I heard the movie's great. If you're an F1 fan, I was told the movie makes no sense.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too, that they do too many crazy things that would never happen or something like that.
Yeah,
But I think
exactly.
I'll like it because it's Brad Pitt.
Well,
Cars.
I went to see Jurassic Park.
Is there another
Or
one?
Jurassic World. Yeah, whatever the new
There's a new
Jurassic. There's a new one.
We're still
Yep.
beating a dead dinosaur, huh?
And I'll tell you what, it was decent. It was long.
They
but it
always
was,
are, but it's
it
like
was
it's the
decent.
same movie over and over again. Here's a spoiler alert. Don't create dinosaurs in test tubes. Another spoiler alert. Don't go to a theme park where you can see live dinosaurs.
Remember, we were talking about this.
This is my whole argument about why they shouldn't grow wild animals that have become extinct in test tubes, because something is going to go wrong. I've seen the movies.
Love the idea of it.
You're just
I
asking
would go
what's
see
going
it, a dinosaur park. I would like to what do you call it? Like merge different species.
Perfect.
See like a gorilla donkey. Like how cool would that be?
Colossal altering 7 mammoth genes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not a great
remember
idea.
Colossal.
I don't like that woolly mammoth coming back to life. I don't. All
Can
right.
you imagine a woolly mammoth like marching through the streets of Los Angeles?
I've seen a few of them, actually, I have to think. I think
Some
I've
of
seen
them,
a few.
yeah.
Few people that do resemble a woolly mammoth walking through the streets of L.A. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
since it's an entertainment segment,
Yeah.
before we get back into the real serious stuff, do you know what I'm doing tonight? So you see, this has been a big entertainment
You're
week
going
for
to
me.
Vegas.
Not only am I going to Vegas, I'm going to see the Backstreet Boys. at
Oh,
the
my
Sphere.
God. That's right. You're supposed to invite us. Auntie Jen was going to go on this trip with Wyatt and Grant.
That's right. Backstreet Boys.
You know
My
about
very special lady friend is making so much fun of me. She
No, it's
says
gonna be
you
great.
and your son are going to look ridiculous
No.
at the Backstreet Boys.
First of all, they'll think you're a couple, which is cute.
That's
Second.
disgusting.
Second.
He's 16 years old.
Exactly. They're going to look at you like you should be ashamed. I hear concerts at the Sphere are really cool. And let me tell you, I went to see the Backstreet Boys in their residency. I think it was at MGM. I can't remember where I was. But I was always an NSYNC girl. But when Kevin from the Backstreet Boys came by me in the aisle, oh no, it was Brian. Sorry, not Kevin. Brian in the Backstreet Boys comes by me in the aisle. Grant, I stuck my hand out and fangirled and touched his arm. You're gonna.
I
get into
don't know
it.
any of these people. Like I know I'll know the songs, right? But
Oh,
I
we'll
don't
come
know
back
who
with a
they
good. I'm
are.
going to bring you back with my favorite Backstreet Boys song. Okay, we're going to break protocol, and Dan will hate me, but we're going to do it.
All right,
Since
so
I've
Backstreet
requested-
Boys for me.
Yeah, my favorite Backstreet Boys song.
All right, folks, that is going to do it for us today. I so appreciate you watching. Look, don't forget the Real America's Voice show tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will see you there. And again, you can always find all of the episodes of the podcast at GrantStinchfield.com, GrantStinchfield.com. You can find me on social media at Stinchfield1776. Please like the video, share the video, spread the video far and wide, because this is how we start to grow and get our word out there. It's about Stinchfield's Army and expanding it. And for that, I say thank you to all of you. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We'll see you tonight on the Real America's Voice show.